This is certainly one part of Louisville Motor Speedway that we know is going to see a lot of action. It's the bumper of the push car. Hi again, everyone. I'm Scott Douglas with Frank Scott. Welcome to Louisville Motor Speedway's Let's Go Racing. Frank, this car is always in the middle of the action.
As a matter of fact, last week it really got in the action. I think it got KO'd there at the intersection. The passenger side door got shoved in a little bit. Was seen in action for several laps on the racetrack, but it's a tremendous asset to Louisville Motor Speedway to have this push car to push some of the disabled cars out of the racing action.
And the guy we got driving, it's great. He gets more standing O's than the fans do. It's a lot of fun. The push car, because there's so many cars here at Louisville Speedway, because we keep the action coming, you'll see him dart out in traffic at different times if a car stopped to get it out. Oh, everything done safe, but this guy is something to watch.
I tell you what, it really is, and as we said before, it's just another invention here at Louisville Motor Speedway. It's a tradition that was carried on from the Fairgrounds Motor Speedway.
A lot of good people involved, including the great folks at Jim & Sons Record Service and Rick Hine and the gang with that. Okay, we've had a little fun with the push car. We had a lot of fun last weekend, Frank.
We sure did. First of all, we opened up Friday night with the figure 8 division. The rookie bombers went in action, and the fast sportsman division. It was M&M Candies night here at the Speedway. We gave away 1,000 pieces of candy, and a kiddo went home with a brand new BMX bicycle, Scott.
Still riding around on that thing eating his M&Ms. And then Saturday, what a great night. You're going to see the ceremonies, and we did something special with Pappy Griffiths, you'll see, but Oldtimers night is always just such a fun night.
It sure was, Scott, and the past champions from Fairgrounds Motor Speedway, as well as the Sportsdrome Speedway, their past champions were here. They enjoyed a great night in the hospitality tent down in turn number 1, and then some of them actually got in a race one more time to see if they really had the stuff, and a few of them won races, and the crowd loved it. The huge crowds. Of course, the crowds are always big here at Louisville Motor Speedway, but a little bit larger than the regular crowds, and we really had a great time.
As always, a lot of fun, but also a lot of great action. Frank's going to have that coming up next right here on Channel 21. Don't move.
Taking a look now at some of the action from Friday evening as the racing weekend got started, and it all started with the Martin Landscaping Sportsman Division, Color the World Green, and the fast qualifier was from New Albany, Indiana, driving the W.R. Martin Machinist Company, Right-Way Grinding Saw and Tool, racing Chevrolet Todd Robinson. But collecting the honors of the 4-lap Diet Coke Trophy Dash for the 4 fastest qualifiers, Sammy Price of Shively, Kentucky for Bachman Chevrolet and Parrish Auto Salvage. Winning the first heat race, a 10-lap contest, was Bob Ferris for B&R Speed Shop, driving a Pontiac Trans Am. The ride also sponsored by Electricians Local 369. And Leon Lewis collecting the win out of Highview, Kentucky, and sponsored by Ralph's Backhoe Services for the faster qualifiers in their 10-lap race. You just saw the finish there of the 10-lap semi-feature event, and the winner was Randall Rice of Louisville, Kentucky, in a very close finish over Bob Ferris. Rice is sponsored by Fleet Tire Service Company, as well as Flynn Brothers Paving Company. Congratulations, Randall, on your first victory of 1989 at Louisville Motor Speedway. Taking a look now at some 10-lap heat race action from the wild and crazy Stroh's Figure 8 division. And at the intersection, it was Buck Skaggs nearly crashing head-on there with the car number X19 there of Wayne Shootman. But going on to collect victories in 10-lap competitions, the heat races, it was Jeff Roberts for Ray Crane Sod Farms collecting the win in the 3rd heat race. The 2nd heat race was won by David Boyles of Louisville, Kentucky for Players Sports Bar and Grill, Louisville Scrap Material Company, and Spring Street Bar and Grill. And the race we're watching now is the first 10-lap heat race event, made up primarily of the top point getters so far in 1989 here at Louisville Motor Speedway. And Raymond Unconscious Johnson goes on to collect the first heat race win, and he's sponsored by Mardi Gras Nightclub, as well as Auburndale Auto Parts and Machine. Also last Friday evening, we saw action from the Gatorade Rookie Bomber Division. These are drivers just starting out in stock car racing, and before they can graduate on to a point-achieving division, they must win their feature event. Let's take a look at heat race action first of all. 10-lap contests. They were won by John Smith Jr. for Bruce Auto Parts. Ricky Brooks collecting the honors for Chumley's Auto Cleaners. It was Larry Cornish in the Louisville Scrap Material Company racing Chevrolet. Mike Mullins collecting a victory in the third heat race for Jefferson Special Police. It was Steve Ashcraft for Tune Up 2000, Ace Oil Company, driving a Chevrolet. And Gary Dixon here driving the white Ford out of turn number 4, collecting the honors for Quality Exhaust Systems and Paper Tech. We'll take a look at their feature event action in just a few moments. Well, so far this evening, we've covered the results from the 10-lap heat races. Let's move on to the feature event actions involving longer distance races. And we'll start off with the Stroh's Figure 8 division. They have a B feature since they have more than 24 cars in this division. And the drivers not in the top 24 in points start out in this B feature. And look out at the intersection. 2 drivers mistime each other. That was Robbie Johnson and Keith Higdon collecting each other there at the intersection. Neither driver was injured in that altercation. And Jeff Roberts, sponsored by Ray Crane Sod Farms, goes on to collect his first victory at Louisville Motor Speedway in the feature event column after only competing for about 3 or 4 weeks. Another altercation there at that intersection. And tomorrow night at Louisville Motor Speedway, in addition to the Pronto Auto Parts Derby City 100, the Stroh's Figure 8 division goes back in action, which we're taking a look at right now, as well as the Gatorade Rookie Bombers. So lots of action tomorrow night at Louisville Motor Speedway as they get close at that intersection. Taking a look now at action from the Martin Landscaping Sportsman Division 30-lap feature event. On lap number 2 of the contest, it's Sammy Price along the inside of Vincent Arnold. Arnold scoots up the 12-degree banking, does a super piece of driving, keeping the car out of the outside retaining wall. But Sammy Price inherits the lead until Jim Bartley comes along the inside, completing lap number 3, and they're side-by-side into turns 1 and 2. Bartley of East Jefferson County, Kentucky, now the new leader off turn number 2, as Price scoots up the 12-degree banking, the car getting a little bit loose. And Rick Carr in car number 37 running third. Wade Johnson goes fourth. With Jim Bartley out front about 10 car lengths, the yellow flag comes out for the first time just before the halfway point when Tom Gray in car number 40 spins in turn number 2 along with Rick Carr of Crestwood, Kentucky. When the event was restarted, it was Jim Bartley taking the lead once again going into turns 1 and 2. But watch Wade Johnson. He shuffles along the inside of Sam Price and nearly passes Jim Bartley coming out of turn number 2. They get back in single file formation moving into turns 3 and 4. With 21 laps of the scheduled 30-lap event completed, Jim Bartley still out front, seemed to be running away with the race, but the yellow flag comes out for a 4-car accident on the back straightaway involving Vincent Arnold, as well as car number 44, Joe Lewis, and the 11 of David Bachman, as well as car number 29, Bill Heil. 9 laps to go. Can Jim Bartley hold off Wade Johnson? Well, fortunately for Jim Bartley, he's got a lapped automobile along the outside of him, so that means Wade Johnson will have to start directly behind in second place. The green flag back out. Bartley takes firm command of the lead into turns 1 and 2 with car number 09, the Pro Crafters Race Car Parts and Fabrication, Mako Auto Painting and Body Works Racing Chevrolet up to second of Wade Johnson. The battle back in third with Todd Robinson in the right way grinding Saw and Tool Racing Chevrolet Camaro along the inside of the Bachman Chevrolet Parrish Auto Salvage Monte Carlo of Sam Price, and it's Todd Robinson taking over third place now with 8 laps to go. Final lap of the contest, and Jim Bartley still out front. Sponsored by 1R Martinizing, as well as Houchins Auto Specialties and Motor Parts Center Racing Camaro, collecting his third feature win of the 1989 racing season. Just 1 victory away from the right way grinding Saw and Tool $1,000 bonus put up to the first driver who collects 4 feature wins in 1989 in this sportsman division. Will it come tomorrow night? It's the Pronto Auto Parts Derby City 100. To win this race, though, Jim Bartley will have to hold off the defending champion of the Derby City 100, Sam Price, and the defending sportsman division champion, David Hine. Also in the event, Rick Carr, who has collected a feature win in 1989. Can Jim Bartley put the washing machine in victory lane? It all happens tomorrow night at Louisville Motor Speedway. Collecting the second place honors of this race was Wade Johnson of Shively, Kentucky, and Todd Robinson, also a heavy contender in the Pronto Auto Parts 100. He's out of New Albany, Indiana, driving the W.R. Martin Machinist Company right way grinding Saw and Tool Camaro. In addition to tomorrow night's Pronto Auto Parts Derby City 100, you'll catch these guys in action as well. The Stroh's Figure 8 division. They'll have a full program with 10-lap heat races as well as a 25-lap feature event for the top 24 drivers in the point standings, and that means one thing: 50 times through the intersection. Taking a look now at action from last Friday night, Tony Anderson of Parkway Village, Kentucky is the early leader in the event, with Troy Morrison running at second place as they move into turns 1 and 2 in about the second lap of the contest. Over to turn number 2, though, the two leaders get together and sets up a chain reaction just before the intersection. This is very typical of the action you'll see tomorrow night at Louisville Motor Speedway in the Stroh's Figure 8 division. It was Pat Pierce who eventually took the lead and went on to cross the start-finish line first, but that doesn't necessarily mean you win. The NASCAR officials check your car over after the race, and guess what? Pat the Wild Man Pierce was disqualified after he thought he won his first feature ever at Louisville Motor Speedway. However, the win was awarded to the second place driver, Rick Rowland, and Rick collects his first feature win at Louisville Motor Speedway in the Stroh's Figure 8 division, and Rick is sponsored by Scotty's Auto Sales, located at National Turnpike and the Outer Loop, just right down the road from the Speedway here. Chuck Barnes, the defending Stroh's Figure 8 division champion, crosses the line at second for Robert Hobart Trucking Company, as well as Barnes Auto Service. Bring the family out tomorrow night. Once again, in addition to the 100-lap Sportsman Division race, the Stroh's Figure 8 division goes in action as well. And we'll take a look at a little action from the Gatorade Rookie Bomber Division. We're taking a look at 20-lap feature events, and if you win your feature, you get to move up to the Gatorade Oval Bomber Division, race on Saturday nights, and race for championship points. The 3 feature event winners from last Friday evening were Steve Lotz for Bluegrass Mufflers, Vernon Hayes for Taylor's House of Color, and we're taking a look now at the finish of the first feature event for the Rookie Bombers, Steve Ashcraft in the Tune-Up 2000 Ace Oil Company Racing Chevrolet collecting the feature win. So now they begin racing on Saturday nights. They graduated last Friday evening. We'll have more highlights and results from the nation's finest short track, the Louisville Motor Speedway, in just a few moments.
Nothing like battle scars at Louisville Motor Speedway, but this looks like a can opener. Was taken to the Bachman Chevrolet number 02. I'm going to bring Sam Price in. We'll talk about that scar and a lot more. Sam driving the 02 and having a pretty successful year so far back in sportsman competition. First off, let's talk about that since we opened on the scar. It's a good thing it came on that side. We want to open the driver's door up like that.
We had one like that on the driver's door 2 weeks ago, but yeah, it's just part of it. You're going to have a little fun, a little rip, a little tear.
All right, the Sportsman Division has been hotly competitive this year. They've even offered a $1,000 bonus from Right Way Grinding Saw and Tool to the first guy to win 4 features, and really, it's been tough to even get a second one.
Real tough. We've been having a little bit of bad luck. We blowed a motor at Salem, and we've tore out several gears in the rear end, but I believe we got her back on track tonight. We're trying to get ready for the 100-lapper next week, and we're ready to go. Everybody's ready to go. You just come out here every night to race.
100-lapper, the Pride of Auto Parts Derby City 100. It's a real special night for you guys. It's the longest race you'll run here all year.
It's real special for me. We won the race last year, and we won the mother race to that the year before Charlestown. So we got a lot on the line. We like to hold our head up proud in this pit, and you know, it's if we don't win it, we'll be happy, but we like to be right up front.
Sam Price last year had this championship wrapped up, I mean, midway through the year, but you decided to move to late model. Now you're back in the sportsman competition, and it's a real dogfight this year.
It's real good. I believe competition-wise, I believe our class is probably the toughest, because there's 10, 12, 14 guys consistently could win over here every night. Where you look at the late models, there's a lot of money being spent and a whole lot of real good drivers, but consistently there's only 4 or 5 guys finishing up front every night. So you know, it's just your preference. I really couldn't afford the late model division, so we stepped back in the sportsman division. Bachman Chevrolet and Doug Kroger, he was real happy with it, because he was a little disappointed last year, but we're real happy to be here just racing every night.
You know, something else about the sportsman division, it's guys that you're used to seeing an awful lot of. I mean, you race a lot of places. You run into the same Jim Bartleys and the David Hines, and so you guys, you know what to expect from the other guy, and you know what you got to try and do.
Yeah, we have pretty good camaraderie between each other. We get along pretty good, but once you go on the racetrack, it's just one man against everybody, so it really doesn't make any difference who you are.
Sam, obviously, I would think that trying to win that points championship is priority number 1 this year.
Actually, winning as much money as we can is priority number 1 this year, but I figure if you qualify as good as you can every night and you run as good as you can, then the points championship is going to go to whoever deserves it. So that's just the way we're looking at it, and just hope everybody has a good year and nobody gets hurt.
Well, you know, you talked about some of the sponsorship help, and I wanted to touch on, let you talk about a few of the people who help you out, because I know you got a young lady who does a lot of great stuff for you, and you got a great team putting it together. Let's call some of these names, these people who put this team together for you.
Well, Jerry Lee's been with me for 5 years. He's my brother-in-law. He works on the car probably twice as much as I do. He puts in a little money, and he puts in lots and lots of time. But Bachman Chevrolet, Kroger Automotive, and Jesse Ford have just they're really the nucleus behind it. I couldn't race the car without them. They help with money, they help with parts, they keep the car going. That's just the way it is, and they're all real good people, as everybody out here knows. Without help, you can't hardly really afford to race. So I'm really thankful to them, and I appreciate y'all giving us a chance to let them know it.
And of course, Jerry has twice won NASCAR's True Value Mechanic Gold Wrench Award, so I know that's a great honor for him.
It really is, and you know, a lot of people don't realize that, but Jerry's pretty good wrench. I mean, I come in, I tell him what the car's doing, and I get out of his way, and he fixes it. So that has a lot to say. And last couple of months, Robin Shelton, he quit racing last year, and he's come over and he's really added a plus to us. And we're just pleased to be here, and just like I say, we just want to be here as much as we can, and hope everybody has a good season.
Been going pretty well so far. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate you guys.
Sam Price with us here on Channel 21. Stay tuned for more great action.
Taking a look now at action from Saturday night, Old Timers night, and the Winston Busch late models. The 4-lap Diet Coke Trophy Dash was won by Chuck Winters of Pleasure Ridge Park, Kentucky, driving the Craig and Landreth cars, McDonald's Restaurants of Greater Louisville, IROC Camaro. The second heat race was won by Scott Walters of Louisville, Kentucky, and the Roadrunner Video Club's Conover's Body Shop, IROC Camaro. Checking out the action now from the last lap of the first heat race, J-Town, Kentucky's Mike Landhair and Somerset, Kentucky's Jack Cornett come together on the last lap of the race. They were racing for the lead. Coming down for the checkered, though, and collecting one of his first wins of 1989 was Ron Phillips of Hikes Point, Kentucky, driving for Jiffy Lube, as well as Sonny's Body Shop and All-American Limousine Service. Second generation driver and running for Rookie of the Year honors, it's Steve Webb of Jeffersonville, Indiana, collecting the honors of the semi-feature event sponsored by Budget Rent-A-Car and Truck, as well as Charlie's Seafood Restaurant and Lounge. Here's a very close finish of the third heat race. It's Chuck Winters of Pleasure Ridge Park, Kentucky, over Tony Johnson of Valley Station, Kentucky. Winters with already one checkered flag for the night makes it 2 for 2 for Craig and Landreth cars and McDonald's Restaurants of Greater Louisville. Checking out action now from the Gatorade Mini Stock Division running on Saturday nights at Louisville Motor Speedway. The fourth heat race was won by John Bryan in the number 7 running for Rookie of the Year honors. It was Thad Horning in the number 32 collecting the honors of the third heat race for Chi-Chi's Mexican Restaurants. The second heat race was won by Scott Greer of Whitesville, Kentucky for Hardy Brake and Electric. And looking at the finish of the first heat race made up primarily of the top point getters, Gary Holloway in the number 50 rolls into victory lane for Holloway Ready Mix and Aggregates. Checking out now the action from the Gatorade Oval Bomber Division. Drivers just starting out in stock car racing and winning 10-lap heat race events were Freddie Holbert Jr., a second-generation driver, Jack Mann collecting the fifth heat race honors, the fourth heat race won by Ray Smith, and then the third heat race was won by Danny Stahl. Larry Lathan of Camp Taylor, Kentucky, winning the second heat race, and the first heat race, we're watching the finish, was won by Jerry Payne, also of Louisville, Kentucky, for the top point getters in this division, actually racing in that first heat race. Taking a look now at the final lap of the B feature for the Gatorade Mini Stock Division for the drivers not quite in the top 24 in point standings, and collecting one of his first feature wins, Thad Horning for Chi-Chi's Mexican Restaurants. Across the line at second for Bachman Chevrolet, it was Joe Scroggum, and then finishing up third, it was Steve Muse. At the intermission, as part of Old Timers night, 3 auto racing diplomats honored Pappy Griffiths and officially retired his number, the number 0 in the mini stock division. Pappy has retired from stock car racing at age 81. He started when he was 57. How about that? Andy Vertrees, the general manager of Louisville Motor Speedway, Milt Hartloff, who helped start the American Speed Association, and Tommy Thompson, the first general manager of Fairgrounds Motor Speedway, honored Pappy on the start-finish line. Taking a look now at some action from the Winston Busch Late Model Division 30-lap feature event, which became somewhat of a demolition derby following 2 caution flag periods. Car number 28, Frank Kimmel, gets loose up in turn number 4 and strikes the right side of Chuck Winters' automobile, sending both of those cars back towards the pit area for servicing. Later in the event with Joe Williamson Sr. out front in the Kroger's Automotive Bachman Chevrolet IROC Camaro. This accident happened over in turn number 2 as Preston Ford, Keith Gardner, and Larry Metters all get together with Metters and Ford sidelined on the back straightaway, bringing out the third caution flag. Later in the event as Joe Williamson Sr., Junior Blankenship, and Tony Johnson battle for the lead. Cincinnati, Ohio's Fred Hall spins in turn number 4 as the rest of the field try to make their way around the disabled automobile in turn number 4, though. Larry Metters and Scott Walters run out of racing room and strike the outside retaining wall. This brings out yet another caution flag. Final laps of the contest, and Joe Williamson Sr.'s been trying to hold off a hard-charging Junior Blankenship. Coming down for the white flag, though, first and second place crash across the start-finish line, handing the lead to Tony Johnson of Valley Station, Kentucky, driving for Gene and Ray Goodlet's J&R Salvage, and goes on to collect his first feature win of 1989. The car also sponsored by Gene's Tannin Tone. Crossing the line at second, Joe Williamson Jr., whose father had that last lap altercation. Joe Williamson Jr. sponsored by Kroger's Automotive and Able Auto Parts, and Steve Webb sponsored by Charlie's Seafood Restaurant and Lounge, Budget Rent-A-Car and Truck, crossing the line at third. There's a good look at the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. Taking a look now at last lap action from the Gatorade Mini Stock Division A feature for the top 24 in point standings. Whitesville, Kentucky, Scott Greer in the Hardy Brake and Electric Pinto holds off the hard-charging Mike Freeman in the Audi Racing Ford Mustang, and finishing up at third in the Davenport and Son entry, Lanny Smith. In the Gatorade Oval Bomber Division, feature events were won by Jeff Elzey, as well as Gary Druck, and Jerry Bard moving down the back straightaway in the A feature for the top 24 in point standings. Gets a challenge along the outside by Greg Stone, who loses it in the 4-turn area. Jerry Bard and the Welding Services Company Oldsmobile crosses the line at first, with Scott Toohey crossing the line at second, and Terry Payne Jr. finishing third. Well, before we get off the air tonight, we want to show you some highlights and results from the Oldtimers races. The stars from the past got back in the race cars and raced one more time at Louisville Motor Speedway. Two names from the 1960s out front on the final lap, and it's Terry Payne Sr. who collects the win over Piggy Kalin. Both of the drivers have sons now racing at Louisville Motor Speedway. And in the second Old-Timers race for the stars from the past, it was Charlie Rightmuse seen here trying to put a lap on Al Straub, who goes on to collect the win over my boss, Andy Vertrees, the general manager of Louisville Motor Speedway. Andy wishes to thank all the Old-Timers for coming out to the Speedway last Saturday evening and making that night very, very special.
Time now to pick this week's Oscar Mayer Top Dog of the Week for performances of the past weekend at Louisville Motor Speedway. And this week it's as much for using your head and driving smart as it was for pure performance, but he had that performance at the end. And of course, we're talking about the J&R Salvage number 08 of Tony Johnson, who grabbed the NASCAR Winston Busch late model feature by taking advantage of playing it smart, staying out of trouble. And he was there when Junior Blankenship and Joe Williamson crashed on the final lap. Tony Johnson gets his first feature win of the year and is named this week's Oscar Mayer Top Dog of the Week. Well, another great weekend of action last weekend, and we look forward to an even better one this weekend here at Louisville Motor Speedway. Now, tomorrow night, special event as Pronto Auto Parts presents the Derby City 100. That's 100 laps for the sportsman, plus figure 8 racing and rookie bomber racing. And Frank Scott's going to save you $1 right now.
I tell you what, all you have to do is stop by any participating Pronto Auto Parts dealer. I believe they're everywhere, Scott. There's 22 dealers in the Kentuckiana area, and we'd like to thank Doug Washbish and David Breslin for getting involved with us. Stop by any participating Pronto Auto Parts dealer, and you can stop by and buy yourself a $5 ticket to the Pronto Auto Parts Derby City 100, or if you purchase $50 in material from any participating Pronto Auto Parts dealer, you'll get a free ticket to the Derby City 100.
So you can get a free one, or with no purchase necessary, you can come in and get yourself a ticket for $5. That's $2 off the gate price. You've got a chance to do that tomorrow. Then come on out and see the great action. And Saturday night, another great night with the NASCAR late models, along with mini stock and bomber racing. And don't forget, it's just 2 weeks to the NASCAR Busch Grand National Stars come in for the Granger Select 200.
It's going to be another fantastic show, the second annual Granger Select 200. And remember, the tickets are are on sale here at the Speedway, and I encourage everyone to come out and see that, the Grand National cars and the Granger Select 200.
We're looking forward to seeing you tomorrow night for the Prado Auto Parts Derby City 100 and Saturday for another great race program. And, of course, next Thursday right here on Channel 21 for all the exciting action. Until then, I'm Scott Douglas.
And I'm Frank Scott, inviting you to tune in each and every Thursday evening at 9:30 on WBNA Channel 21 for the fastest half hour in Kentuckiana. Let's go racing.